Welcome to all the dear faculty members who are joining on this day 4 of the online faculty development program sponsored by AICT Atal, and it is being organized by SSC NASCOM. Thank you so much. And I'm very happy to share that today Srijit Nair is joining us. And please listen very carefully because he will give you a lot of tools, AI tools, information about how to use AI tools, which you can then use to plan your uh, day-to-day work. So I think I'll just, Srijit, if you can join.
Yes, Kamna.
You
Hi.
know,
Hi.
hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello and welcome everyone. Srijit, this is your first session in this batch, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
So, hello,
yes.
everyone. Yeah.
Hello everyone, and let me introduce Srijit Nair. He is the Chief Strategy Officer for Foresight Foundation, and he's been a key resource person for us for all these sessions. He's been taking very engaging and informative sessions, and I'm sure you'll all will benefit a lot. So I'll hand it over to you to take this forward.
Thank you, Kamna. And once again, hello, everyone. I hope this would be a welcome badge for everyone. Hope you are all already, since a few days have passed. So, hope you all had a very good experience with Future Prime. I myself am happy that just yesterday I finished a course on future sales prime. So while we have a session on LinkedIn, I'll be happy to share the certificate with you all for personally something that I have finished. And Kamna, just amazing that I could see a lot of skill set related courses that even I was not aware of. So just happy exploring future skills prime these days. So meanwhile, I'll just come to the topic now. Today we would be looking at how generative AI, what exactly within that, what prompting is. We'll focus on OpenAI. That's part of the course module. And meanwhile, apart from OpenAI, what all has been the latest advancements in this sector? That is something we can just look at. Apart from that, we can also look at how image generation aspect works and what are the practical aspects. So while I say practical aspects, let's keep it interactive. If anything specific regarding OpenAI, generative AI, you have certain questions, you can ask it. I would try to include those aspects as well in this session over the next 1.5 hours. So, anything specific that you have been using OpenAI or generative AI for? See, basic search is something that everybody has started doing, I believe. Is there somebody in the group who already has not have had any experience of using ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other AI-based tools? If somebody has never used, they can mention. Otherwise, I will start with the assumption that basically everybody has just basically used generative AI. So I believe everybody has at least had a hands-on experience of how to use the ChatGPT window or a open Gemini window, at least any large language model that is. So I'll just start with the presentation now. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So this session, section one, we would be looking at using generative AI effectively with a focus on writing prompts. So while we say prompt writing, lot has changed in the last 2 years since generative AI has come up. A lot of new use cases have come up. But since as a FDP training aspect, I would like to take uh, on some particular use cases for which you would be able to use ChatGPT or any large language model better. So, as a faculty for AICT, one thing that would you be focusing upon is lesson planning and concept simplification. That is one aspect that you would be looking at that can be enabled through ChatGPT. Step by step, what exactly, how the lesson plans need to go, how to simplify complex topics. Another aspect within this comes that understanding the kind of students you would be teaching, their strengths, and deciding the flow that you would be using. You might be having 30 days, and the strength of a student or the batches that you would be taking would be X, where some might be a visual learner, some might be looking at hands-on experiences. So having a customized lesson plan, that is something that we can look at through ChatGPT or any large language models. Similarly, assessments and question bank creations, specifically that also customized. Say MCQs, quizzes, those can be based on very interesting creative correlations. It can be two subjects coming together, or an example of a something that interests students would be movies, um, certain genres of songs. So correlating latest movies to the topic that you have, generating question banks that are very engaging. So that is some sort of prompts that you can use and have assessments and question banks in the making. Research and proposal writing is something that as a use case comes not only to the students but for faculty themselves as well. As well, how to summarize literature, drafting abstracts. So these are the aspects that used to take a lot of time previously. By a lot of time, I recall that when I was doing it for myself, it used to take around 10 to 15 days just to go through, say, 40, 50 different sources, zero in on 10 of them, then go and have an in-depth understanding. And that in-depth understanding just to identify the correlation of what exactly I want to do and going through the entire proposal just to come through that one paragraph, which makes a lot more sense to me. So can I directly reach out within a shorter time to those particular insights that comes with every book, every research paper? So those are aspects that uh, any large language model acts as a catalyst for. So those are the aspects as well which we can look at. Similarly, mentoring a student, career guidance, those are aspects that wonderfully well you can use large language models to do. And that is one insight that can make careers and take the organization itself, that particular college or university you represent, to the next level when it comes to the kind of recruitments that is happening, campus selections happening through your esteemed colleges or universities. Continuous learning and upskilling is another aspect, very important, that any of these generative AI based large language models helps you with. At the same time, there are a lot of new technologies coming up. So, keeping yourself updated, that is also one thing that you can use any LLM, ChatGPT in this case, for. So, being a continuous learner is something that you can do. You can also shift from being a lazy prompt user. By lazy, I mean somebody who just uses it in a conversational model. The depth of how specifically derive meaningful, better knowledge from large language models, that itself has become an art. It's almost like anybody can have a paintbrush and paint, but not everyone can paint. Same example lies with using a large language model. Whosoever has a better understanding of how to use these language models better, the kind of prompts that can be generated, the kind of context that can be set, would be a better user. And when you start on the journey, you will realize that first month or first week of prompt generation to 6 months later, if you're continuously working on it and meaningfully engaging, continuously learning, the kind of prompts that you would be creating, say, a few months from now, those would be amazing. So that is one aspect that you can look at and learn continuously. So I'll just basically go through the generative AI aspect at once and then move to the practical aspects, more of the demo rather than focusing on the slides. So in general, I would like to take you through the large language model or generative AI aspect. At a surface level, artificial intelligence is something as a terminology we use where machines mimic the human intelligence. It helps us problem solve, decision making, generating new ideas. So those are the aspects that AI as it is known for. So within that also comes the machine learning aspect, which has led to understanding or the entire program to learn how to get the data and uh, process it. There is another layer, deep learning or the neural networks. Uh, it is how the multiple layers are understood and correlations are set, and how we can understand how the machine understands uh, the correlations that lead to meaningful insights. And then there is a generative AI aspect that creates new content. So that is where the large language models come in. So these are the basic aspects, but what we are focusing on as of now is the generative AI aspect, where AI that creates new content, whether it is text, images. Now it has moved to video generation, music. A lot of program management related softwares has come up. Use cases are many, but howsoever through prompting we generate all these use case data is where the generative AI aspect comes in. Now, just the importance of writing prompts. What exactly is a prompt? Uh, Basic sense, since you all have tried you prompting, is basically interacting with a interface like ChatGPT in the same manner that we interact with a human being. It can be basically say, if you ask me how are you, the answer would be a general I'm good. How are you? So that is something that comes from me. However, if you specifically ask, okay, how has your day been? Or is the weather in Delhi, where I am based out of as of now, okay? So I will respond accordingly because you have given me a context, and I start responding accordingly. So the kind of questions that we ask, the kind of context that we lay out, the kind of roles that we assume a person takes in. So those are the aspects that in general we use. Say if I am asking one of my friends, okay, have you seen the latest movie? Uh, the role that I want that person to take up is that, okay, talk about movies only. I don't want to take him the role of expert technical person or a say in general. I won't be looking at uh, somebody rating me the entire thing as a um sound or technical engineer or a visual engineer. I would be looking at how the experience has been. So same aspects, if I am asking somebody those specific things, keeping in mind, if somebody is asking me how has been the experience of movies, I will act or respond accordingly. If somebody asks me how the, can you just tell me the recent movie, how has been the auditory experiences for me? I can rate accordingly. So the kind of roles that we want a person to assume, the person will respond accordingly. Because that exactly a movie is for me. There are a lot of layers, a lot of pieces of information. So if you want me to tell you about the sound, I will tell you about the sound because you asked me to. How the sound experience was, how the cinematography was is something else, how the storyline was is something else. So the role that you want me to take, I will take that role with that assumption and context. I will share it with you. Same happens when you are interacting with the uh, LLM. So basically, it's about what exactly is you want and how you want it. So those are the aspects that you ask through a prompt. It is also about giving a clear direction, and clearer the question is, or the detailed the question is, the better the answer is. So that is a basic rule that applies. on a good prompt. And why a good prompt matters is the same as you would have seen in your daily life or a professional life. Within or surrounding you would be good communicators, average communicators, and somebody who is known not to communicate. Somebody like कि अरे मैंने पूछा था ये इतना सामने वाले को समझा नहीं. So that is something that a person would normally be using. So similar to that, there are good prompt engineers, there are average prompt engineers, and there's somebody who's lazy. They just want to basically ask one question and get all the answers, but won't be getting it. So the better the communicator is, similarly, the better the prompt engineer is, and the prompt engineer can be better when they are giving the clarity of what is being asked, the contexts are all shared, and they are putting some efforts to communicate. Uh, Same can be another example that as a communicator, you are also supposed to listen. Post listening, you would be able to understand. Okay, say somebody, I'll give you another example of movies only. I may be asking how the movie was. What I would be expecting is how the experience was, and this person would be looking at, oh, it was a mass entertainer only, nothing specific. But the experience, how he felt, and is it worthwhile, is something that I would be looking. So the feedback I get, and then I will ask subsequent follow-up questions. Okay, I just wanted to know about the overall experience as a mass entertainment, how it is. So same is with prompting. You ask with all the clarity. If the clarity is not achieved in the first question, you move to the second step, that is asking further clear questions, specific things, so that you can get better uh, results. So an example of weak prompt can be just explain population density. And the similar things, if you want specific answers as well, a strong prompt can be explain the factors affecting population density in India. Now, you are saying for whom it is required for in India. And for whom that particular data is required, that is for class 12 student. And in how many words it is required, that is 150 words. So when you are saying something specific, they will provide, the LLM will provide you specific results. And that is how you go into the details. Let's get into the practical examples of these aspects now. So for the practicality, first you need to understand what exactly is happening while you are prompting. So once you give an AI an instruction, the instruction is then broken into smaller bits that is known as tokens. One common thing that you will hear whenever you are looking for a free uh, chat GPT or another LLM, the word mostly used is X number of tokens are free, post which it is chargeable. So let me give you an example of what exactly a token is. So within OpenAI, this is an example tool that is available where you can see different models and the kind of tokens that it takes. So I'll just copy the same prompt that I say I just copied a particular example that I had shared. So here you can see if the model that I am, and every model, first thing to understand is that every model has their own frameworks of how tokenization happens. The more evolved the model is, its basic understanding of the tokens and the characters being used, it also changes. So here I'll use the example of GPT-4. GPT-4 is taking 19 tokens. The character remains constant, whichever model that I'm using. So what it has done is that it has broken. Explain is one token, the is another, factors is the third. Similarly, going on up to the last dot, it's taken 19 tokens. So it is breaking the entire sequence into tokens. Once it is broken into tokens, what happens next? Embedding happens. Embedding is each token is converted into a numeric value. That is the embedding. There's another slide that I'll just show you. It's not available in that, but I'll just share that each token then is converted into a numeric vector. So for a particular word, the numeric vector can be 0.86, 0.45, and like that. So this is with the assumption that we have X number of words when we are using a particular language. Say English, referring to a particular dictionary, it can be 1 to 1.5 million words maximum that are part of it. So each word has a specific value or a numeric value associated, and based on that particular numeric value, it converts those particular words into numeric vectors. Then comes the transforming process where the neural network, say, it understands first the relationship between each number and then predicts what exactly. Say, I am taking this session from the city of X. So since I am based out of Delhi, the most predictive answer would be from Delhi only. So as I am interpreting based on the information, uh, the large language model also, based on the correlation of all the words, comes up with the next word that should come. So that's how the prediction happens. And that prediction eventually leads to the generation of response. Once the response is generated, again, the feedback loop stops. X is not the question, or okay, can you tell me more about where in Delhi are you? So that is the feedback loop, and the next set of questions. The next set of question, then again, it's a prompt, tokenized, embedded, transformed, relation is set up, then the prediction happens and the response comes, and that is how the interactive aspect happens whenever you are uh, having a discussion or a conversation with a large language model. So there are sort of a lot of new large language models that have come up now. Chat GPT obviously is something that we are looking at. Apart from that, some of the famous ones are Claude. Claude is an Anthropic. It's a company that has started this. There is Gemini from Google. There is Perplexity. That is also something that within India, whosoever has an Airtel account now gets it for free. Copilot is something that within the Microsoft ecosystem exists, but it is just a OpenAI only, which has been routed through Microsoft. Then there is Meta AI. That is something that you see in your WhatsApp, Facebook now. That particular AI is called Meta. Then there is DeepSeek. Now there is Grok. That is X or Twitter based AI. So these are the multiple large language models that you see these days. Within these, how I use is that each of these large language models has their own strengths. Say ChatGPT, it's an excellent assistant for doing anything and everything. And based on the different kind of models that you have, I'll take you through the explanation of what the models is. But say GPT-4, GPT 4.0 has certain models. The latest model, GPT-5 and the variations of it has come up now, and each one has a strength with a specific initiative. Claude is something that I normally will suggest for anything that has a very creative output. If you want a very creative output, if you are looking at writing, discussion with them, various correlations when it comes to research writing, the Claude is something that I normally use. I'll use it because it has a long contextual memory as well. Gemini is something that Google DeepMind's Gemini 1.4 is something that is excellent when it comes to overall workspace. And if you work within the Google ecosystem, that is something that is very good. Now with the recently Gemini 3 is some one model that has launched, so that now takes almost matches up to what ChatGPT is doing for you. But prefer if you have a if you work with Google Sheets, Google Excel variations and everything, that is something that you can use instead of ChatGPT. Perplexity AI is something that combines real-time web search with verified citations. So just to get, if you are doing some research, within that research, getting all the citations and everything, Perplexity is something that I use mostly. Copilot, if you are in Microsoft ecosystem, similar to Gemini, Google's ecosystem, you mostly use PowerPoints, Excel files, and everything. That is something that helps you. Anyways, the Copilot is nothing but ChatGPT only. So ChatGPT is something that primarily you can start using. ChatGPT, there is a particular plan now, ChatGPT 1, that is available for free for everyone in India. So these are the basic models. DeepSeek is something that has, it is free. It is an open source initiative. So comes with cost wise, it is very low. But since it is a Chinese model, data leakage is something that is not assured. So very carefully we can start using it. So now I'll come to the different kinds of prompting techniques that we can use. I have shared something here where I am saying that whenever you are looking for a query, the number one thing that you need to use is what is the role that you want the large language models to take. Why that is absolutely necessary is that whenever there is a particular query that you have, each person's query might be looking at one specific part of the entire data that the large language model has, and they have gone through billions of data sets, billions of files all through internet, ChatGPT or any other model. So, but you don't need billions of data to come up with a basic query that you might be having. You might be looking at something from the engineering background mostly, or a research specific on a particular topic. So, if you want large language models to focus on one specific aspect and go in depth for that, then you might be looking at a role. So, how to specify the role is adopt a tone, style, and reasoning relevant to that tone. So here you can say you are an engineering pedagogy expert designing an FDP for AI in teaching. So what this does is that an engineering and pedagogy expert, and what you are looking at if faculty development for AI in teaching. So you are setting the role for a particular uh, large language model. So once the role is set up, then comes the objective aspect, that is defining what you want to achieve clearly. So if and why that is required is when you want some expert to come in. Say you are asking somebody to come for an interview or taking a presentation. So you don't just invite that person. You also say that, sir, please come and interact with our students. The topic that you would like to interact with is X, because that objective would be the students get better interaction and better in-depth insights on that particular topic. Same happens here. Just lay out the objectives that is required and keep output focused and measurable. So an example here is that key, once you have set the role, you can say create a 3-slide concept summary on how generative AI helps engineering faculty. So that is something that I shared as an objective of what I want. Then comes the context. Context can be add background details for constraints, where you are saying that key, what exactly is the AI's aligned, AI's response aligned, and what is the audience that you are looking at. So you can say 3-slide concept summary, but for whom that particular 3-slide is. It can be for a PhD student, it can be for a basic entry level first year student, it can be for faculty, um, and everybody would be looking at a different kind of response based on their skill sets and their understanding. So the audience need to be defined, the context need to be defined, that you are doing this for X. So that is the audience. So here I can say audience is AICT approved engineering faculty with limited AI exposure. And the format, that also needs to be looked at. Say it's faculty, and faculty would like to have a short slide because their insights are clear. I just want to take it up a notch further. So with that understanding needs to be shared. So once you define the role, you define the objective, you define the context, then comes the task aspect. Now you give the task. So normally what people do is, I'll just take you straight with an example. If I'm just asking, so this is lazy prompting, as you see. So I just wanted to say list 5 practical classroom use cases with short examples. So I'm not saying for what exactly is required. So normally people, when they start using large language models, they will ask questions like this. You ask anything, large language model will respond to it, but the responses would be very generic. So here you have a very generic 5 pointers. But at the same time, you just go through the entire prompt. I have what I'll do here is that I'll first share the role, then I'll share the what exactly is the objective that I want, then I'll share the context that I want, and then come back and share what exactly is that I want. So when I do that, the general response that I had here shares to something like this, where all the slides, everything that you wanted specifically, those are mentioned. You wanted certain slides and responses, it has accordingly made the same. So this is something that you can do when you have a role, context, objective, and a task. Eventually, a task mentioned. Another aspect would be what exactly the role. Role can be, say, I'll give you another expert experience of this. I'm here again pasting the role. You are an engineering pedagogy expert designing FDP for AI teaching. Now I can say, teach me how to teach me what teach me. Uh, say I'll move to the objective. I want to learn how to prepare a FDP. So that is another objective or expectation. I want to, and the context. I want to uh, design this for first year engineering students. Then I'll say, teach me. So it will start interacting with you and teaching you what exactly to do. I can just modify this. The context and everything is there. I can, instead of teach me, I can say, discuss with me on my gaps. Say, I might be doing the same thing on the skill set gaps I have. to design this. Sometimes what happens that ki we ourselves would be assuming that we are expert enough with so many years of expertise to design anything specific. And there's something called illusion of explanatory depth, where we may understand that we know, but when it comes to actionables, there we realize that we don't have that much of expertise, and there is a gap. So, being in kind of situation, it is better that you practice it with LLM, where you can say, discuss with me the skill set gap that I have to design this. Ask one question at a time. So when you start, like I shared one aspect where you created, another aspect where you asked it to teach you. The third aspect is that key help me identify the skill set gaps that I have. So here you can start discussing on what is your understanding, what is it that you have, what is your strength, what is your weaknesses, and accordingly say I'll just go through randomly. So this might be the response to one question. Why is it two instead? I'll say C might be the response to this particular question. Then it is like creating AI generated puzzles, high impact gap. What exactly is it? So I just respond to everything and it will eventually help me. I'm just not going through everything, but it will ask you a certain group of questions, and then it will identify the core skill set gaps that I have. So I can also use prompt engineering not only to get information, that is something that normally a faculty or a person will use 90 or 99% of the times LLM for. But apart from that, you can use it to teach yourself of new fresh initiatives through prompting. You can also use it to identify the kind of skill set gaps that you have. That is where the continuous learning aspect comes in. You can also use it to say same prompt, keeping the role objective, everything same. I can say, help me understand how student psychology can help me design better. So you can also ask it specific aspects to help you teach your sessions better, or create a FDP specific module based on the. So this is how you will get fresh correlations. You can relate it to how you can use recent movies as an example to create FDPs. So that is another correlation that you can get. So when your prompt aspects changes, you are just giving the context and the task is different. You will get various different kind of experiences with the same set of data. So that is how it works. So this is how you can use various prompting techniques uh, and get more and more detail. It is role, objective, create the context, and then defining the task. So now this is one aspect. I'll go to the next aspect where you can use the chat GPT itself to create prompts for you. Just write, help me create a detailed prompt for what exactly, if you somebody wants to uh, there are one question. I'll use that question itself as an example. Can AI write authentic research paper? I'll suggest here, AI, don't use AI to write authentic research papers. Use AI to get authentic data to do that research yourself. It will, of course, it will create, but it is correlational, and the first particular human intelligence is something that is missing. So don't do that, because that is almost like the some practice that is making people dumber by the day. So there are post chat gpt, there are two kind of categories that has come up: those whom chat gpt or a llm is making dumber by the day, because they have started relying entirely for a basic writing as well on chat gpt. But there are other people who have started creatively using all these data sets and emerging as somebody who is becoming sharper by the day while using LLM. So, but yeah, I'll say, help me create a detailed prompt for writing authentic research paper with role, context, objective, and task clearly defined. Ask one question a time to help me design this prompt. Got it? Basic. So you are not writing a prompt yourself, but you are saying that these are the things that you want specifically to be part of the prompt, and you're asking ChatGPT to ask questions one at a time to you. So let's see how this works towards creating a prompt. So it is saying, create Visual co-engineer a research paper writing prompt. So broad discipline, what is you want, is it that you want to look at? Here, I'll also say that while you start using ChatGPT, what happens is that it will understand who you are. It will understand the kind of person you are, the kind of profession you are. It will also understand your the name, and then it will suggest something according to the basic characteristics or expertise that this person has. So since I am somebody who is looking at initiative for transport and logistics system, it is saying that this might be some of one of the initiative that you would like to understand or create a research paper. I'll say no, these are not the uh, options. It is entirely fresh. So I'll say no, I want a. So why not on illusion of explanatory depth itself? I want to write something or do some research. So I've given it a topic. So now accordingly, it will ask. So I'll just take it at a faster space. I'll just give options like applied paper 3 is something that I am looking at. So I just select option 3. It understands that I want to work on applied paper. Then within that, what is it exactly that I want to use it? I can, if it is one of the 10 things, I can just write the number 1 to 10, anything. Say, uh, technology adoption is something that I want to work at. But if something else, no, yes, I want, and you can just go on what specifically you want. So here I'll just, with the shortage of time, I'll just focus on one thing. I'll just mention. Now it got what exactly is it that I wanted. Then technology adoption, define the core problems. So one of the core problems, it has said, if the core problem is something else, you can go with that. But I'll say one, users believe that they understand digital tools better than they actually do. So that is something that I understand. I want to research on that. Then who's the primary audience for the research paper? I'll say here academics and researchers themselves. So it has got the topic, type, domain, problem, audience. So now it has created a prompt. So it has defined the role, context, objective, and task. It has given the task that I can, if 4,000 to 8,000 words is something that I want, I can just copy the prompt and start using. However, it is always better that you review whenever a chat is ChatGPT itself is used to make something. You can start copying it. Okay, it says further asking some things. So these are the things that it wanted. Before finalize this master prompt, I must tune one last dimension, depth of difficulty. So it is saying solve for PhD level. So it just showed me what direction it is followed and the final what it was required. So the final master prompt for writing. So normally you can just copy paste this and start using, or you can say if you want some certain edits like minimum 6,000 words, you want it in 10,000 words, you want a specific aspect that needs to be changed, you can just change it here, copy this to a Word file, change, iterate whatever is required, then come back. And it is so simple like this that you can just copy paste and create, take it to a separate window and use it, or you can just say execute this prompt, and you will see ChatGPT itself creating a prompt first based on what you required, and then once it is created, it will execute it as well. And here it has created the abstract. There is introduction, what exactly is the research gap contributions. So it is here saying that since it is a longer initiative, is it going in the right path? Would you like to have the next aspect of it in is asking? So you can just say that continue. It will start building on that particular aspect. Literature reviews. So it will create, start building it next to next to next, whatever. Since it is a longer initiative, it is going through a lot. But say citations and research literature review. This is one aspect that don't just rely on this. Once you have something like this, there is another tool that I use, that is Perplexity. Perplexity AI. So that also with Airtel, it is free. Perplexity AI uses citations. It has several interfaces. One, the pro aspect, it is available for free for Airtel users. Then there is a research aspect, and there is a lab. Lab is where you can go and turn your ideas into completed documents with slides, dashboards, everything. So I can just use the basic interface. I can say the literature review aspect, it has created certain ideas. I will just take the literature review. I will prompt it here. Find me citations for the. This is a task. Another way to go with a prompt can be task first and then the objectives and the role. Find me citations for the literature review. I'm sharing below. Assume the role of expert in this area. You can go with the mentioning that specific area. I'm just staying this area and the objectives and everything. Once you are done, and then you share the what you have, what ChatGPT has created, and it will give you all the citations it has identified. See, it has all the citations for anything that you can see. It's available now. The good thing about using a combination of different large language models is that once you have something, you start building a body of what you want to research. Then, based on the body, you will get a direction here. What is it that you want to review? Once you have that understanding, you shift to what are the citations available or the resources already available. You can just go look for those particular insights, and then you can start building. Here, I'll again say just use ChatGPT to create the first idea of what exactly needs to be looked at and how the overall uh, structure goes. But yeah, this is something. It is just saying again, continue. So another part of the research paper generated, the third part can be created. It will go on and create a research paper first draft, based on which it becomes very easy for you to understand and create something of your own because the direction has been set. Once the direction has been set, an initiative like this will help you create, look at the citations. Once you have the citations ready, Claude AI is something that you can just you can upload the entire first draft and just give a prompt that help me creatively understand and take feedback. Say this. I'll just copy one part and help me review this text, analyze, and give feedback. So I've pasted the detail and I'm asking feedback on what exactly is written. And what this aspect of prompting does is that it will tell you. So this is something that is already written. What you can also do is that once you have a citation, say you want to explore one of these citations, you can just this has cookies. I normally avoid. So I'll just copy the link, come here and say review this and give me feedback on. So here I can say what the role is, what the objective is, and according to the objective, just paste the data that I want feedback on. If I say just analyze on one particular aspect, it will analyze the entire article on that particular aspect and just give you a feedback on what exactly is the strengths of that particular. If you are asking that as a reviewer, review this for a particular expertise in X, it will review it. It will share all the key observations, what exactly it is, strengths, what is missing, everything. So this aspect of helping you with research is that it will help you understand the missing context, what are the strengths, what are the areas of improvement in something. And if you do that with 10 citations, it will further give you an idea of what exactly is it that you should use, what exactly is lacking in one area of study, what exactly is it that you should be looking at to refine or come up with something new. So these are a combination of certain tools, tool that overall assists you, tool that helps you with citations, a tool that gives you a creative response to what exactly is required, the combination of which can give you a very good insight on how to proceed with the writing. So once you have everything noted down, then you can go and start with the uh, research paper document. Same you can do for any of the tasks, whether it is for designing question papers, whether it is for designing session plans, or whatever you want. to do. So that is the basics. Say one, I told you how to look at role, context, and task as one of the uh, models to create a prompt. The same can be used to help ChatGPT understand what exactly is required, and you can use ChatGPT itself to create a prompt. Once you are done with, you can also look at different combinations, look at citations, how to derive citations. Citations also, you can just go within the ChatGPT model itself, and you can also ask it here only. It's not, it doesn't do that good of a job that Perplexity does, but yes, it does. Give me citations. Say here the literature review has been done, citation that goes with the review. You can do the citations as well within the ChatGPT window. It won't do the as good as Perplexity, but yeah, it will do the work. It will share you all the links. Once similarly, what I used Claude for was review chapter 3, yeah, section 3. I can also do that here itself. I don't need to use specifically Claude. Claude I use because it does a bit of better job, specific job, because of the model that it uses. Review point 3 of the article. So it will. So review, I can go detailed reviews, show, share the strengths, the weakness, the gaps identified. You can also attach your resume or your area of work. What exactly have you done with previously? And accordingly, it will share something with you. Another aspect of ChatGPT that you can use, many people don't use, is the kind of language that you want it to use. Suppose Stephen is the person who has written this, but this might be one article that you already have in place. So, and there is a particular way that the person writes. Everybody has a particular style. What you can do is that you can use, upload a few of your writings, articles. I'll just paste something here. I'll say, analyze the pattern of writing and help me write like this person. I can say, I can normally how I use it is that since I have the data of all the emails that I have written in past few years, I just pasted all the data of the kind of mails that I used to send to people over the last few years. Then I just said, ki analyze the pattern of writing and help me write like this person. I said, ki this is the kind of articles I write or the responses I write on email. Help me analyze my writing, whatever it is. Here I am just giving it 2 paragraphs. There I have given it 2 GB worth of data. So now it is sharing that there is a pattern of analysis for this person who has written. This pattern is different for each of the faculty. Everybody, including you, would have a different pattern of writing. Just copy paste something that you have created and it will show the pattern of writing. So that is another aspect of prompting that is very effective as a use case for you. So once you have those patterns understood, what you can do is that you can say, uh, please note this pattern and help me generate an article on theory of. I'm saying there is a theory of diffusion, very interesting theory. Those who are not aware of it, please do check on what exactly it is. So what I'm saying is that I just want an article. I can go with the role, context, objective to make it detailed and very specific. I'm just giving you an example. So now what it has done is that it's not using ChatGPT style of writing. It is using this person's way of writing. Similarly, when I create something of my own, there is something called projects in ChatGPT. The window appears on the left side within projects. What you can do is that I'll show you first that it has written in the same style that this article has been written in. It's the same style it has used here. So normally what you can do is that you can just create first get the ChatGPT one account that is for available for free. Just go type in free ChatGPT account. It will take you to the link if you don't have it already. Register it, get the free version. Then just create a project. You can say my writing or Srijit's writing, and then create a project. So once it is created, then it will I can add a lot of files. So if you have written 5 or 10 or 15 articles previously, go and select all the articles that you have written. Then you can just add a prompt that please note this for future writings. Then you can create a I'll just copy this again. I'll say please note this text for the pattern of writing that I use. So I have updated the project. You can add a lot of files to make it better. And then what all you want, you can start interacting and asking it or generating whatever. Say I already made something here. If this is something that I had come up with, I can just copy it. It can be something that I have written, and I can say redraft this in my style of writing. So whatever has been generated, it will shift it to the kind of articles that you write. So that is another way that a lot closer to how you write. So I won't suggest use it for writing research papers, but the first once you have written something, then a formal language that you have been using, just to adapt that to the formal language, you can start using this. Another use case can be that you already have a lot of emails going on. Whenever there is an email coming in and you want to use it in your own style, you can just copy one of the emails that comes in and say respond to this in my style. So that is how I use it mostly, is that whenever an email comes, I'll say an email can be of say 200 to 50 words. It is explaining something that a new project is starting and would you like to be interested in doing this. I'll just say no in my style of writing. So I normally what I normally do is that I'll say nice, thank you to connect, and really like the idea. However, my focus area is this. I'll stick on to this. I wish you all the best. That is how I write. It will understand how I write, and it will give me a version of what exactly I respond like. So sometimes even I am amazed that this is something that I only wrote. So just to have interactions, more communication. Somebody who uses say has to respond to 50 to 150, 100 mails a day. This is absolute bliss. You just copy it. You can create agents as well. That is a separate thing. But basic prompting, you can use something like this. So these are the aspects you can use to have a better prompting style in place. So now covering this, I'll just share a tool that is very effective when it comes to faculties and another aspect of prompting. So now that we basic large language model related prompting we have understood, we'll move to something which can help you do the research better. All the large language models that I have shared as of now and the examples, it is going to the web, identifying the things on their own and getting back with that particular data. But what about the use case when you want to create something based on 5 or 10 files that you have? Or say you just went through all this, use perplexity, got 10 or 15, 20 articles that you would like to study. What you can do is that you can create a new, go to Notebook LM. That is the first thing. It's a wonderful tool that is available on behalf of Google now. Helps faculties a lot to structure their thoughts, helps faculties create lesson plans, and a lot more. So add source, source can be one, source can be multiple, source can be a link, PDF, Word document, whatever it is. You can just go to the link, directly upload something. You can go to the drive, upload something from there. So once you have all the links, what it does, I'll just open something that I already have. So I just uploaded previously one AICTE approval handbook. So that is something that is available for everybody. The norms and regulations, everything is added. So I just went to add source and uploaded that particular handbook. See, AICTE has 5 or 7 different types of handbooks. I can upload everything and have this session as something in which I am focusing on AICTE approvals for all kind of, or say reference material for all AICTE handbooks, where I might be looking at what exactly how to do online teaching. So I can find where exactly in which handbook it is mentioned if the what the process for online teaching is. I know that this is mentioned in here, so I'm just not going through it again. But once you have everything, whether it is one document or 5 or 7, it will use that particular document only to do all the research from. So once you have, say, you are teaching a particular set of students, upload all the content here and ask how to generate a session plan which is engaging for first year students, PhD students, whatever it is, it will create something. The absolute magic of this is not limited to what you can do here. It's something that any large language model can. But there is a studio aspect available with Notebook LM. Studio aspect has certain features. So here, based on what all documents you have, it can be, say, for a student, it can be as easy as they just noted down something like I normally do. All the notes somebody can scan, somebody can upload here and say, create a learning lesson plan for me. Or somebody can say that create a podcast from this. From all the notes that I have just written over last 1 month, if I want to create podcast out of it, I can do that. How I can do that is that I can, whatever the document is given, I can go and edit on the audio overview that I want. I can say deep dive or brief it, critique it, how, why this is not good, or debate on it with the positives, negatives, everything. I can also say that let's do it. The notes might be in English or the book might be in English, but my learning style or my brain wants it in Hindi so that I can have a better conceptual clarity. Or my mother tongue, that is Malayalam. I can just go, I can select one of the languages, any languages, lot of languages are available. So I can just say, I want it in Hindi. Then what exactly is it that I'm focusing on? I can say, I just want to study the online. I want the detail on online FDB program. Or I can say, I want to understand the entire handbook, how it is drafted. So if I'm saying I want to understand the entire handbook, it will go through all the 255, 300, 500 pages of the document. If I want it to focus on one particular aspect, chapter or section, it will just create something of it and I just create generate. So what I have done is that I have already created something so that we don't spend time doing that. I'll just play it for you. Oh, sorry. Here. I'm starting the podcast. Are you able to hear this? This is an entire podcast. Two people are talking within this. I hope it is. Are you able to hear? Oh, it's not. There might be some. Just let me stop sharing and start sharing again. It might be a technical aspect.
AICTE consider
Yeah, the sound was not shared. Now it would be available, I believe.
outstanding. The criteria
Are you
must be
able
tough.
to
They are,
hear
but
this?
here's the key. An
The podcast that is
institution
running?
only needs to meet one of the criteria.
Just one. Okay, so
Yes.
what are the main ways to qualify?
Well, you can figure in the latest NIRF
Just
ranking.
imagine. So now how easy it becomes. Somebody who is a visual learner, there is a visual aspect as well. Somebody who's an auditory learner, or somebody you just want to listen to something or read some book or read some article, but you just want to go for a walk first. So why don't do it both together? You just upload this, create a podcast. You can even download the podcast here and go for a walk, listen, and by the time that you are back, you have the basic idea. Come back, listen to it, read through it again. Uh, since there are two different sources of getting one particular source of knowledge, your brain will start remembering it better. So you can do this. Now, within this also, there is another amazing aspect, that is interactive mode. So now the two people are talking, you all listen to it. This also helps me get into this as the third person. I'm just doing that. I'll just click on the interactive session. Interactive session, it says two hosts are available. This depends upon the kind of bandwidth I am getting. Uh, I'm sorry, this is not working as of now. If the bandwidth is good enough, I can join in as the third person and I can ask questions to this document and it will start interacting and providing. Let me see if once more if it's possible. So my bad, the bandwidth is not allowing it. It requires a bit more, say 300 Mbps. It works very real time. So you can join in the podcast as the third person and you can start interacting with two people. Say the most interesting aspect is that when you're creating a podcast, go for a debate aspect. Then two people will start debating on one topic and you come and you share the third perspective and both of them will interact with you with their own perspectives. It is amazing the kind of knowledge that you can gain using this. So that is another aspect that you can look at. Then there is a video. Say audio is something that won't interest you. You can create an entire. So this is AICT blueprint that I created with a video.
नमस्कार और
So what
कठोर
it
और
has
धीमा
done is that it has created an entire visual set. It has created a video that I can download. This video comes with all images, graphics, visuals that the AI has generated. And just so this is
मतलब
the
एक
lesson.
छोटे से काम के लिए महीनों की कागजी कार्रवाई। अब जो नया विजन है वो है सुव्यवस्थित, लचीला और पारदर्शी।
So this is
फोकस
the
इस
new
बात
vision
पर है
that
कि
AICT
संस्थानों को
has.
उन चीजों पर ध्यान देने में मदद मिले जो सच में मायने रखती हैं, यानी क्वालिटी और ग्रोथ। ये हैंडबुक सीधे उन मुश्किलों पर निशाना साधती है।
So you use this and you would be amazed the kind of visual knowledge that you can get, the videos that you can get. It is amazing. So you can what you can also do is that you can create a session plan with videos. If you have smart boards and everything, this is another aspect that you can create. You can also create flashcards. You can also create mind maps. This is an example of the mind map that it has created. It is saying that the process of handbook has 5 categories: AICT overview of goals, major changes that it has. If somebody is interested in major changes, somebody might be interested in there are 4 changes and scope of expansion, undergraduate courses. So what exactly is it within undergraduate courses? You can download this and you can have this ready. So mind maps also you can create here. You can also create reports, flashcards, quizzes also you can create. Infographics is something which is started new. This is amazing, the kind of, so I'll create some infograph here. I'll say landscape, standard, and I'll say I want a on if guiding online teaching is something that I would be part of this. So it will start generating the infograph. I won't wait. It's already a bit of time. So this is how you can go with uh, the infograph part. Then slides also you can generate. So these are the aspects of prompting that you can look at. Now coming back, there is another aspect that is image generation. So image generation also I'll very quickly take you through these aspects. My apologies, I have taken too much of time for prompting, but that is the fundamental now. So now the fundamentals are set. It would be very quick to take you through the details here. So image generation, what exactly it is it generates image. How it works is almost similar, but there is one critical aspect that I will just share with you. Now, image generation is another aspect that helps you say uh, till date, smart classes, smart boards are not available, or you want to post something, you want to create certain images for it. Those aspects were very much limited. But now, based on what all knowledge you have, you can create certain artworks to go with it. It can help you create visual aids. Whenever there is a art and innovation club related initiative or an annual day, it will help you create posters as well, and cross subject projects or blending data with art, much like infograph. So that is something that you can do using this. Now, how image generation works. So that is the you already understand when the prompts are shared, prompt is converted into tokens, then the transformation happens, predicting aspect happens, the responses are generated. So in between, when you are dealing with generating images, there is something, one model called generative adversarial network. Very interesting thing. What it does is that it has 2 models on which millions of visual pictures, using millions of pictures, 2 models are trained together. One is the generator model, which says that he go through millions of pictures and see how each image is being generated. The another is discriminator model, which says that he go through millions of pictures and look at what exactly is not a picture. Say a cat. So what generator is trained on how a cat looks. Millions of pictures on just cat images and how cats look like. Discriminator image goes with what exactly is not looking like a cat. So once you have trained 2 models on the same thing, what happens is that here, if I want to create an image of Mona Lisa, the generator model will do is that based on the machine learning that it has, it will go and start creating lines patterns. The discriminator model will go and say this is not coming like the image of Mona Lisa. And when it many times the feedback goes, it will eventually start creating images like Mona Lisa. So it happens thousands of times, and eventually, when both agree that this is the image, it will come and stop at one point. So that is how image generation basically works. The model is general adversarial networks, where discriminator and generator works together to come up with a particular image. So here I am saying that role, context, and task is for getting a task done. When you want to create, what you can do is that you can look at the character you want to create. Canvas is the short form of the framework that I am telling you. Character, then atmosphere, then the narrative style you want. Character can be, say, create a character of a uh, person who is taking the faculty development program sitting at a cubicle of its own. The person looks like a 40-year-old male, black hair, whatever, wearing a shirt and a Nehru jacket. So that is the character you have made. The atmosphere can be the cubicle, the lighting, where the lighting is coming from, those aspects. The narrative can be what exactly the person is doing. Visual style can be realistic, that is somebody who is sitting in front of you. It can be animated. Animation itself, there are multiple styles. Disney animation style, or something like Ghibli animation was something that was a rage a few months back. Angle, whether you want it to be a front facing thing, a side facing thing, how exactly it being the aerial facing angle, what exactly it is. And the setting, define the location and environment of the ground image. So all these aspects, if you add onto a prompt, it will create a particular image. Say here I have said that a character of an engineering professor explaining AI to students. Atmosphere, energetic, curious, futuristic. Narrative, student experimenting with small robots. Visual style, digital art. Angle, eye level shot. And setting, modern Indian engineering colleges. So based on this, this is the prompt that I have created. Now, to generate this prompt, ChatGPT itself can be used. Oh, I wanted to take you through the infograph that it has made. Okay, you can just go and create an image of, I can just give it a prompt like this. However, Gemini is one large language model that can be used. Try Google Gemini. As of now, the best of images and the free images mostly, it is generated by Google Gemini. Once you go to Google Gemini, just click on create image. So now it understands how to create image, and you can have a fast model. The thinking model is something that I'll just come to. So fast model, you can just go and share the prompt. So here, once I have shared, tokenized, processing, discriminator, and uh, generator model are working. And eventually those two models will work together and generate something like this. I can say, create this in Disney animation style. So it understands that already the context is there. Same image needs to be created. Only thing is that the image type should be a bit different. So meanwhile, ChatGPT takes a bit more time, but here you can see that it goes from a blur to an image, because a lot of things are happening in the background where generator is generating something, a discriminator is saying this is not the image or this is going towards the right direction. Please continue accordingly, which eventually helps us create that particular image. So that is also happening. So and eventually it will create an image. So while that happens, so this a bit of change is there. It has slightly modified the image, and Disney animation where big eyes are there. So these kind of initiatives has been set up. You can change this to say, give me the same in Madhubani painting style. It will also do that. So these kind of iterations, the styles, once the character and everything is defined, use this and you will be able to generate these kind of images. Now the another good thing about Gemini has come up, that is the thinking mode. What it does is that while you start creating images, there is a Gemini Pro mode, thinking. So thinking mode, what it does is that it can blend text and images together. which is a wonderful way of creating infographics. So I'll just say ChatGPT. I will say, give me 5 ways to create content. So if you are asking certain aspects and there are certain things that it is sharing, whatever the use case is, you ask something. It is a general thing, but you can be very specific, and then you can just whatever has been generated. If you want a infograph for this, what you can do is that you can select this, go to Gemini, and say create a infograph for this and share. So the thinking mode is something that takes a bit of longer time. It takes around 3 to 4 minutes and comes up with a proper infograph. So while saying this, let's look at the AICT infograph that it generated. We had given a command here. See, fantastic kind of images, infographs you can create. So this is not a graphic designer's work. This is just a basic prompt. Look at the kind of output that is created. This is an infograph of a online and distance learning program. So this was of the 200-300 pages of the handbook, there were 2 pages on online distance learning. So when I prompted that I need an infograph on online distance learning, it scanned through the two pages and it created an entire infograph which you can download. So just imagine a particular chapter and how to take that chapter, a slide you need. You just create an infograph, it will come up with something like this. So hope you see the value in it. Amazing the way Notebook LM does the things now. So meanwhile, I'll just, within the shortage of time, I'll just come back to this. So this is Nano Banana Pro. I told you that I just used ChatGPT to create a basic understanding of the basic content. I use the content here. I went to image and thinking mode. And these are the content strategies. Why it is showing 5, 6 here, it is because there was a bonus principle. So here, even while the content was not saying that there are 6 ways, it was saying 5 ways and a bonus principle. So it understood that there are 6 specific things that needs to be part of the infograph, and it has created, it has structured, it has look at the kind of processing that it needs. It is creating an image on one side. There is a text layout. Within that text layout, it is structuring, simplifying those particular one lines that it is needed. It is giving the examples and creating the entire infograph. So such is the powerful way that image thinking has evolved now. So one great tip is that use image and fast mode when you are creating some basic pictures. Use the thinking mode. There is a number of thinking mode related initiatives that you can do because in the free version, like 2 or 3 images you can make in a day or two. It varies based on the tokens used. So it can be 2, it can be 4 or 5 simple things as well, but you can create such initiatives. If you are using it, you want something to be generated 2 or 3 times a day. If you require more of this, you need to buy this. Not suggesting the same as of now. There's another very interesting aspect. 2 minutes remaining, Kamna. I hope I can take those 2 minutes. Is Meta AI.
Yes,
So
yes,
Meta
yes,
AI,
yes. Please,
yeah.
please go ahead.
So Meta AI, another aspect. I'll say lack of time. I'll go through an annual day invite. So this is, I just said that create a annual day prompt. So if I have prompt, then it is okay. Otherwise, what I can do is that I can basically ask ChatGPT itself to create a prompt for an image. How I can do it is that create a prompt to for an image creation for Srijit's University Annual Day 2025 to be held on 26th December. So I'm just basic, very lazy prompt. This is what I should do is there is that mention the character, mention the atmosphere, mention what exactly is required. But I'm going a bit lazy here. I'm just creating a prompt. I can use Gemini or any other initiative, any other tool that is create something like this. What it will do with Meta AI is that it will give you 4 variations of what exactly is required, and it also does a very see. So these are images of a annual day thing. The university's name I have named it after myself. So I can just go. I can say, oh, this is the image that I want. Now it also comes with the ability to animate this particular image. So I can just create an invite. Within that invite, I can say that you are invited for X. If the prompt is that detailed where I'm inviting people, where I'm sharing more detail, it will act accordingly. But here, I have just asked it to create an animation. It will create an animation. The option of adding sounds is there, and you can download something like this, whether it is a animation, whether it is a JPEG or something with sounds as well. So these are a lot of possibilities that has arrived, and I wish you better luck with experimenting. Please do experiment a lot. That is how you get better. And each month, if you are consistent on it, you will see the kind of quality that you can generate. All the best to you, everyone. And over to you, Kamna. Thank you.
Thank you, Sriji. That was a very interesting session, and lots of new tools you have shared and new functionality. So thank you so much for that. I'm sure everyone really benefited. We have almost 100 faculty members on the line. I mean, on the webinar. So I'm sure you kept them hooked on. So thank you for that, and we hope to get you back. I think there is another session which is
Yeah.
planned.
Thank you, Kamna. Thank you,
Right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And let me now welcome Aditya Johar, who is joining us to take the next session. Welcome, Aditya. Welcome to this day 4 of the online faculty development program.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just a quick introduction, Aditya is senior software engineer at Orange Mantra, and we've had very interesting sessions which he has taken earlier. That's why I specially requested him to come and take a session here as well. So over to you, Aditya. I won't take much time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Fabulous. So great. Today we'll be talking about using AI for presentations and for marketing content, generating content, how AI can be used for your PPTs, how you can use AI, and what are the different models, how they perform, how does Copilot work. We'll have a very interactive session. So let me first share my screen and let's quickly take a dive into what we'll be talking. So we'll be talking about using GenAI for presentations, documentation, and agentic business applications. So by now, the entire world is aware about what GenAI is. It's it's as common and ubiquitous as using a mobile phone these days. Everyone knows how to use ChatGPT, how to chat with ChatGPT, what they can do with it. But we'll be taking a slightly deeper dive into how we can use GenAI for our daily business use case or for our educational purposes, how we can use it to leverage and add value into our lives, not just from the surface level. So there are many models now. There's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, Claude, And all of these models are trained on vast amounts of data. Now, the thing is that certain of these models perform better in certain aspects. We'll take a look at the different kind of outputs we get when we try to build a PPT with ChatGPT or with Gemini. Claude is, fabulous if you're into coding. We'll take a look at that as well. And these and leveraging the benefits of these models is it comes with practice. So using them, you'll get a feel for what kind of task each model is better at, and what task you would want to use a specific model for. So right before we take a plunge, so I want to ask, let's build a PPT using AI. So please, let's in the chat, which of these four topics should we make a PPT for today? So I always ask the audience to make a selection. So we have four options: history of computers, ancient kingdoms of India, best travel destinations, most valuable degrees 2025. So in the chat, please write what your preference would be. History of computers, ancient kingdoms. Okay. So we have somebody who wants to talk about quantum computing as well. We can do that. Best travel destinations. Okay. History of computers. Let's have at least 3, 4 more people. Let's see what consensus we come to. Ancient Kingdom of India or history of computers. Okay. Okay. Let's get 2 more people. We'll spend another 10 seconds on this. Anyone else wants to history of computers? Okay. All right. So let's go with history of computers. Somebody has added how to hack AI. That's a different topic. That's a different presentation. Uh, okay. So let's go with history of computers. This will be a holistic. It will be a holistic PPT that we can build. So let me go into. We'll take 3 options. We'll go with Copilot, we'll go with Gemini, and we'll go with ChatGPT, and we'll see how each of these performs. So let's take a pick. Let's say that. So if we are not familiar with SharePoint or PowerPoint for cloud, so it provides us this little button over here, which is Copilot. And this is now available in the desktop versions as well in Excel, Word, and and PowerPoint. So clicking this button and opens up the GenAI slider. And let's say, so we've taken this template. We've got this one little template here, and it's got a whole bunch of templated slides with lorem ipsum kind of text, some basic placeholders. So what we want to have AI take this template and make a PPT, edit this template, and make a PPT for me about the history of computers. Let's start with 1950, when computers were first coming into mainstream research. There were computers prior to that as well. During World War II, they had been used even prior to that. But real, what we look at, those mainframe huge computers, the real research started around the 50s. So let's start around 1950, when computers were first coming into mainstream research. And then let's give it slightly detailed prompt. Let's say, let's go decade by decade and incorporate the information into slides. So fabulous. Let's go ahead and let's just give it this prompt. Let's not go into too much detail. Let's see how the AI performs. I'll copy this template as well because we'll go into Gemini and ChatGPT and do the same thing and see how well that does. So here we go. Let's go ahead and Copilot is now thinking. Let's put this prompt. Okay. So what it's doing is it's giving me, okay. So now it's given me a ChatGPT like answer. So under the hood, Copilot does use ChatGPT. But what I really want is create the PowerPoint file now. So I'm going to ask it to create the PowerPoint file. I didn't really want the information. I wanted to make the PPT for me, make my life easier. Let's do the same thing. Let's go into Gemini and let's put in this prompt, but here we don't have a template. So let's simply give it this, make a PPT for me about the history of computers. Let's start with 1950 when mainstream research, and then let's go decade by decade and incorporate the information into the slides. Okay, perfect. Let's give it just this prompt. We are not going to give it too much detail. We want it to start. Now, Gemini has a really beautiful function and feature. So it goes into canvas mode and let's get it to think. And meanwhile, I will put in the same prompt into ChatGPT and let's compare these models and see how well they perform. So Gemini is in thinking mode. It's taking a slightly longer than it usually does, but no worries. Let's go back to, okay, it says my presentation is ready. You can download it here. Okay, so 36 kilobytes of a PPT has been created for me. History of computers. Let me download it and let me see what it has built. Okay, so here we've got a PPT history of computers created by Copilot for me. All right. So what we've basically got that same text that had been generated and it has put it into a slide by slide format. So there is a little bit of a mention about quantum computing here. We can talk about that in slightly later as well. But this PPT is very basic. Somehow Gemini is, okay, here we go, designing the first decade. It's working quite slowly today. All right, let's go back here. And let's go into history of computers. Let me download this file and let's see what it has created under the hood. So history of computers presentation. So if we see here what Copilot created for me with the Copilot option that is coming out of the box in PowerPoint and SharePoint on cloud. This is basic PPT. It's just created the text and just pasted it for me. Meanwhile, this is still thinking and still going. Okay, so if we look at the thinking process, tracing digital roots, I've become compiling the foundational information, defining the research, selecting visuals and style, locating iconic artifacts, outlining the slideshow. Lots of thinking going on. Now, detailing. So, okay, I've just finished the 1980s and here we go. The canvas has come up. So creating slides ready in a few minutes. So this is, why I really like Gemini. I've been using it a lot in the past few weeks. It's this canvas mode. Somehow it's working slightly slowly right now. But typically during my, when I use it for my work, I find it to be really brilliant. Well, before I say that which one is the best one, let's take a look at what ChatGPT has generated for us. So ChatGPT isn't providing a canvas kind of a feature out of the box. It's given me a file to download. I've downloaded the file. Let me import it into PowerPoint and let's see what it's created for us. Right. Okay. Now we're back. So again, what we got from ChatGPT is again almost the same thing what we got from Copilot, just a white background, black text, and it's just taken the text and it's pasted it into slides. 1980s, yeah, sure, they are divided based on decade, the way we had asked it. But what I was really looking for that, wow factor, which would make me say that, this is really fabulous, this is really great. I kind of didn't get it because I tried to go into Copilot and I, asked it to edit the template, but it did not edit the template. It gave me a fresh PPT. Let me try more. Let me give it more prompts. Using the slides that are available in this PPT, give each slide professional layout and design without changing the content. So surely if I were to write this content myself, this would have taken some time, but now we have AI, so it really gets these things done. If few years back when I was in college, if I had this, it would have made my life very easy. I think making slides was one of a very, I would say, a major part of the work that we did, and this would have really saved a lot of time to do that. Just getting this content in, but now we are in the AI age, so we want something that gives us a wow factor. So I didn't get a wow factor because now my expectation is already high. With what I expect AI to do, I'll be showing you a few more tools that are really brilliant. And but here, let me upload this new prompt and ask it to edit these slides. And let's go back into Gemini and see how well it's performing. All right, take a look here. Well, Gemini seems to have done a little well. Let's see. It's got this animated slide, the evolution of computing from vacuum tubes to quantum realms. So again, we've got a mention of quantum computing. Let's take a look. Wow. Here, we've got some images that have been selected, mainframes and vacuum tubes. Okay, 1950s marked. Content is there. Nice background as well. Wow. Again, nice image. So Gemini seems to be, if I would rank the three out of for which one is the best, if I look at this slide itself, I could take this slide and I could present it somewhere, whether I was in college or wherever I would need to present a slide. I could really take the slide and I could say that, hey, even the images are contextual. It has an understanding of which image to show. 1990s, take a look. It's got an image of this browser. I think this is Netscape, uh, which it's right there, and it's found the images for me. And here we go, an image of Steve Jobs, computing in your pocket, 2010s, invisible computer in the cloud, rise of AI, and then the quantum frontier, generative AI, quantum computing, exponential transistor. It's even mentioning things about transistor count. So this slide is workable. This slide has a slight wow factor to it that I could say that, hey, this was interesting. This was well done. Unlike if I go back here, I gave Copilot a prompt and not really very useful. I mean, it's telling me that swap the accent colors, change the fonts, adjust the spacing. I mean, I want AI to do it for me. Like, what is I can't use this slide out of the box. There's just text on white background. So I would say clear winner here, Gemini. And then, you can do a lot more. You could start prompting it that add 2 slides about, let's say, iOS and Android and how they have transformed, right? And we could tell it to add these slides right on the slide 7. Perfect. Now it's so rapidly evolving that if we look at what you know 2 or 3 weeks back, this canvas, this slide maker canvas, this did not show up on default when we asked Gemini to create PPTs for us. It would show up sometimes. If you were on the pro upgraded plan, if you look at, I'm here on the free plan. I'm not even on the upgrade plan. It's telling me to upgrade, but it's providing me this feature out of the box. And we have this grayed out button here, export to slides. This is another really brilliant feature provided by Google. Once this prompt is completed, we could export this entire PPT to slides. We could even download it, and we could edit it the way we would edit any other PPT. So all those features are still there. It's still allowing us to do that, but it's very intuitive. So somehow Google has figured out what the user really wants and what the customer really wants, and it's incorporating those at a really rapid pace. I find ChatGPT in the past few weeks and months has kind of stagnated in terms of the offerings that it's providing to users. It seems to have stuck itself into chat mode, allowing people to converse with a bot and get information. But for work mode, if you're trying to get work done, I find myself leaning more towards Gemini and Claude. Claude for coding purposes and Gemini for these kind of tasks where I have to build a PPT or do some documentation. So this is again clear winner we have in terms of slides, Gemini, based on what we've seen right now. So any questions so far? We can take a minute and let me just look at the chat. So the last question, somebody has, can we do like more of a storytelling theme for PPT of history of computers, like a character travels in time and gives the brief for computers at that time? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If we edited this prompt, let's since you've asked this question, and this maybe other people may also want to see this, let these slides get generated. We could tell Gemini to edit this PPT and make it into a storytelling format. So it will actually edit, since you want it to be as a character traveling through time. And we let's give the same prompt to Gemini, exactly what you've written in the chat. Let's put the same thing there, and let's see how well Gemini performs. So it's really brilliant, and I'm on the free model. I'm on the fast model. I'm not even on the Pro or the 3 Gemini 3, which was just released last week. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm on the fast model, which is typically Gemini 2.0 Flash, and here we go. So we had asked it to add 2 slides about Android and iOS, and here we go. iOS, redefining interaction, multi-touch era, App Store economy, and Android. Power to the manufacturer's open ecosystem. Fantastic. So it's added those slides that we wanted. Here, I want to just highlight one thing. So it has added those slides. It's done really well. One thing that I always do is once I get the first iteration of the slides, I always export it. And because when you start prompting to save on computing resources, Gemini removes those images. So now it's created sections for placeholder images. So I've lost those slides which were created at the first iteration. So I always export this to slides, and I keep a copy saved in the cloud until I'm working on it. So now when I go into open slides, it will actually open this PPT for me, and it will allow me to, so since we didn't do it at the first time. The placeholder images are not there, but this is just a recommendation for everyone that when you get the first prompt from Gemini, the first draft of the PPT, I would say, always export it to slides so you have a copy of what it's done for you, and the images will be saved. So you won't see these placeholder images. Having said that, let's go back into the chat. So you had asked, can we do something like more of a storytelling theme for PPT of history of computers, like a character travels in time and gives the brief for computers at that time? Now, I'm going to take this exactly. I'm going to put this here. And let's see what it says. Let's give it a moment. All right. So you've got these slides here. Google Slides. Everything is, you can play around with the entire edits and everything in slides as if you were actually editing a PPT. So let's let that happen. Let this generate as well. While this generates, let me also set it up for the next part of this discussion today, where I will also show how I use ChatGPT Gemini for documents. Let me get that ready while the model thinks this answer through. All right. So this is still thinking through. Let it take a moment. Gemini is working slightly slowly today. In the evening around this time, I think last time as well, when I was giving a presentation, it worked a little slowly. Although during the daytime, I find it works really well. Anyways, what we are going to do next while that loads up. So I've got this PDF of 32 pages, which has a set of physics questions for IIT. Now, this is a set of physics questions, which I would say difficulty of 7 or 8 out of 10, fairly complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this PDF into Gemini, and I'm also going to upload this PDF into ChatGPT, and I'm going to give it a very simple prompt. Summarize each of the questions in this PDF with key concepts and reason. All right, I'll give the same prompt to ChatGPT. Okay, here's a clean question by question summary. So, okay, Gemini is still analyzing it. Gemini is somehow working slightly slowly. No worries. Okay, so we got a really quick response from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT wins the race on that one in terms of quick responses. Here we go. Clean question by question summary with key concepts for the physics section of your PDF. All right, it's summarized this completely, right? And it's still in process. Okay, here it's still analyzing. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what's happening here. Still analyzing. Okay, something is going on with Gemini. No worries. Now, what I would do is which are the three key concepts, or let's say, which are the key concepts highlighted in this PDF. All right. So here, now let's take a look. So we've got an analysis that comes from Gemini right here. And if you take a look at the difference in the way it's presented its analysis. So Gemini, if you look at it, it's created a tabular structure, and each of the topics have been mentioned. If we take a look over here, it's got a concepts, and then the reasoning behind it, and the answer, of course. The answer is already there. And here we've got topic, key concepts, and reasoning. Okay. Now, what I typically do is, a lot of times, what I want to compare the output from one model with another. So if I take this output, let me copy the first 3 questions, or maybe the first 5 questions, and I tell Gemini that this is a summary I got from ChatGPT. What do you think about it? Is it all correct? So this is a way, and I'm showcasing this on a very high level, that how we can avoid hallucinations by the model. Maybe one model might hallucinate on some concepts and another might not. So what I tend to do is I compare the output from one model with another. So I kind of make them fight against each other. Now, I'm not saying that there would be any error that's provided by ChatGPT or by Gemini. I'll put the same, let me copy this entire structure here. And give it to ChatGPT. This is the output I got from Gemini when I asked it to summarize the concepts for me. Is it all correct? Now, okay, here we go. Accuracy check. Gemini summary for question 26 to 30. So it says, okay, perfect, correct explanation. Correct explanation. It says only minor missing note includes lambda of ions, but not needed here. Correct, correct. Here we go. So it says here for aromaticity, there's a partially correct but incomplete answer. So the solution method is correct but incomplete. Aromaticity depends not only on Hückel rule, but also on structural feasibility and lone pair participation. Okay. So we'll go back. Now let's take a look at what Gemini said for these. Here we go. So Gemini says that question 1 summarized by ChatGPT, fully correct. Question 2 summarized by ChatGPT, correct. And question 3 is not correct, Gemini says. It says reasoning about wavelength is incorrect. Now, so as per ChatGPT, we got one partially correct response from Gemini. And as per Gemini, we've got one incorrect response from ChatGPT. Okay, so let's copy this. Now, okay, it says there's another incorrect response from ChatGPT. Okay, let's copy this and let's tell ChatGPT, as per Gemini, your output for Q3 is not correct. What do you think? I didn't want to copy the whole thing. Just a moment. I just want to copy this. Before we even give it the verdict, your output for Q3 is not correct. What do you think? Let's see if it picks up its mistake. Okay, it's taking a moment, thinking longer for a better answer. So now we challenged it, so it's thinking longer. Evaluating Q3 and revising response. Okay, evaluating physics of pulse travel times, analyzing option B, pulse velocities. So if you see, when we asked it to summarize, it came up with an answer so quickly. Now that we've challenged it, it says, I stand by my earlier summary for Q3. Correct options are A and D as the PDF shows. Gemini, objection is understandable. There's a subtle point, so I'll explain why A and D can correct. Why? Okay, so it's given us a reasoning behind it. Okay, now let's see, here is what Gemini said. Thank you. And yes, Gemini is correct on that specific point. Let me give you a clean and precise reconciliation. Gemini is right. The wavelength does change along the rope. Okay. No, of course, it says, does this change the exam answer? No. Correct answer remains A and D. Okay. But the reasoning, there was an error. So challenging the model, the concept I'm trying to highlight over here is we've got these two models. We even have Claude. We can do the same thing with Claude, but I think the concept that I'm trying to present here is that we must make the output from the models challenge each other. So what we also do when we do a lot of data analytics work using these models, we get the output from the model, and we are doing all of this programmatically. We are not doing this using these the chat interfaces, but the concept is the same. We fetch a whole bunch of data. Let's say it's a CSV or an Excel based or SQL based data. We get that data and we get one of the models to reason behind it, and then we send the reasoning to the second model, and we have them correct and check each other. So if you see this quick, easy summary that we asked ChatGPT and Gemini to do, there was uh, some reasoning errors that each of the models presented. Let's take a look at what let's go and tell Gemini that ChatGPT picked up a partially correct but incomplete answer, and let's see what Gemini says. ChatGPT, your output 30 is partially. Do you think? Now let's see what it says. It's going into thinking mode. So here, so you see, we made the model challenge itself, and it allows. So the involvement for the person is also very important in when working with these models. On their own, they are they lack direction and they lack the real human reasoning ability to find errors and to find answers. But when a human works with them, the output we get is really exponential. If you look at this PPT, okay, this is still fine tuning the story flow. So we've asked it to do something, transforming presentation format. It's still doing this. Let it keep going on. Okay, but if you look at this PPT itself, just the way it stands, not this itself would have taken us, a couple of hours to make. With the content and the images and everything, but this was done in a few minutes by Gemini for us. So the power that we get is exponential. Here we go. So this is what Gemini says for the partially correct theory that ChatGPT picked up. It says, that's a very fair assessment. I agree. My initial summary for the reasoning of question 30 was partially correct, but incomplete for the thorough analysis and an examination like this. So it does, and then it presents to you the full output and reasoning that go behind this the logic. So this same concept applies to any document, any research that you're doing. You might get a certain amount of input from one of the models, and then you can use the second model to verify it, and then make them fight against each other, and finally get quick reasoning and correct logic out from it. So any questions on this concept? So would love to hear any questions on this concept, how we make the models go against each other. And this is something that is very important as we use these AI models more and more. Okay, so there's someone says nice explanation. Thank you. Would love to have some questions on this. What anyone, let's hear. If not, then we will go to the next part of the presentation. Okay. So no questions. All right. Okay, so we have a question here. So which model answers we can take as correct answers? Okay, that's a good question. It's not possible to say that one model is best and always answers correctly. So if we see what we got in our output here, we had partially correct and outputs from both the models. But when we copied the output from one model, pasted it into the second one, then we found that okay, by doing that we are able to verify the output. So I would say use both the models and verify the output from one model by putting it into the second model. So this will allow you to get the best logical answer. So that's very important. The idea is not that one model is perfect and it does everything correctly. No, AI models can hallucinate. So this part is extremely important, that when working with AI models, we need to ensure we give them most detailed possible prompts. Of course, we give them bite-sized tasks, and we remain involved in the entire process as we hope the LLM does. So being involved with the entire process is extremely important. We can't take any one answer as at face value, because AI models are designed to be very confident. They are trained on vast amounts of data, and they are trained to be very confident in their responses. The reason is, if this is inherent by nature to them, sometimes they will be very confident on a response and the response itself might not be correct, but it's hallucinating. The reason the model is given confidence is, one, all the companies want to present the models as super intelligent beings, and they really are super intelligent beings. I would say, in terms of the amount of knowledge they have, it's tremendous, and the transformation that they've done in the world, it is absolutely tremendous. But they are trained to be very confident, and sometimes, just sometimes, I'm not saying always, if you see out of those 30 questions, two of the reasoning that were provided by each of the models was not correct, but 28 of them was. So sometimes the same confidence is what we need to be wary of, and that's why we need to check the output of one model, put it into the second model, have it verified. It'll find some issue. If it does, then put it back into the first model, ask it that, hey, the second model says that this output is not correct. What do you think? And then 99% of the time, the model will accept, just like we've seen over here, that that's a very fair assessment. I agree. My initial summary of reasoning was partially correct, but incomplete. Fantastic. If we look over here as well, it says Gemini is right. The wavelength does change along the rope. So we need to be involved, and we need to make sure that we use both, or even Claude is the third one. There's other model as well, like DeepSeek, and there's Grok. But the most popular and most commonly used ones are Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude. So idea is that let's put the information from one model into the other one and have it verified so we get the best possible output from it. All right. Any other questions? So we can't rely on these models 100%. We can rely on it 98%. The rest of the 2% has to be our input. It has to be, if I'll show you how intelligent these models are in just a moment. I mean, we are all, I'm sure we are all aware how intelligent they are. It completely understands these equations, these formulae. I could ask it, if I ask it that write the pancake sorting algorithm for me in Python. And this is one of the it's a tremendously complicated algorithm if somebody is trying to write it on their own. And here we go, the model writes this Python code for me right away, and I can copy this code and I can paste it. I could tell Gemini to do the same thing for me, or explain quantum computing to me in 10 sentences. Instead of bits, it uses qubits, which can exist. So we can rely on these models as much as we want to. Then the onus is on us as the final decision makers, as the humans. We are the humans, we are the decision makers to decide that how much do we want to rely on them. It's really on us. Like, I can take this output and I asked it to explain quantum computing to me in 10 sentences. I can take this output and I can paste it here. Okay, it's so Gemini does this really beautiful thing. I think this is great. I asked it to write the pancake sorting algorithm for me, and then it opens the canvas up and allows me. And then we can even, Google has a Colab feature, so you can export it to Colab, and you can run the algorithm in the browser as well. So if you're looking to like explore some coding and you don't want to take an extremely deep dive, Google has this tool called Colab that so Gemini provides this suite of tools. The moment you ask it to build something, let's see how our PPT is doing. So somehow it's still stuck here. I think we gave it too much. Yeah, it's still fine-tuning the story flow. And no worries. If I'm pretty sure if we go ahead and create a new slide and tell it to make a story about, we'll do that. We'll tell it create a story about a person traveling through time and show the history of computers through the eyes of that person. It'll do that for us. We'll just do that shortly. But here we go. It's exported this to Colab. And here we go. We've got Google Colab that'll open up for us, and it'll run the algorithm for us, pancake sorting algorithm. And run it all. So I don't want to go take a deep dive into coding here. I think we are not too much into coding, but let me open up a new Gemini chat and let me paste the output about quantum computing. And we have how are models built internally. We'll answer that question as well in just a moment. So I just want to highlight that when we are working with these models, it's very important that the onus remains on us to take the decision what we want to use of that model. So here is an output I got about quantum computing in 10 sentences from ChatGPT. Do you think it's missing anything, or can I use it to teach it in my class? That's a concise and accurate overview of quantum computing, covering essential concepts in 10 sentences. So it says, so the model itself is very intelligent, and you can use both of them or even multiple of them to analyze but the onus remains on us to decide what we want to use from the model. That's really the key answer I would give you. That how much can we rely on it? I would say as much as we want to. The next, we have one question on how are these models built internally? So these models are built on top of what we call a transformer architecture. So large language models. So over the past 10 years, these models are basically neural networks. They mimic the networks in our brain, the neuron networks in our brain. They mimic that same architecture, I would say. Research into neural networks went started in around the 70s and 80s, and people said that, hey, what if we use the way neurons are connected to each other to process information? So how does information get processed in our brain? Let's take visual information. It comes through our eyes, and whatever we see, those images are processed through a set of neurons which relay information and try to map that what exactly it's seeing. It maps it into predefined memories of those neurons, that okay, if I'm looking at a computer right in front of me, I know this is a computer because somewhere there is a connected layer which says what a computer is supposed to look like. And uh, if why don't we tell Gemini itself to tell us what these models look like internally? It's a set of layers. What is the underlying architecture of the Gemini model in terms of its neural layers? Oh. So it says it's a sophisticated, highly optimized transformer-based neural network, primarily following a decoder-only structure. Okay, so let me ask it, generate a flowchart or a diagram showing how the layers are set. So, okay, it's loading Nano Banana to generate the image. I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of what Nano Banana is. It was really very viral, in the past several months. So here we go. This is what the architecture uh, of the model is. So if I was giving you the example about visual, how the brain works. So if you take a look, and this is again the input. So let's say audio, video input, image input. Then we have these embeddings and this embedding architecture, and then we have the transformer block. And I think it might be too technical to think of it, but just think that this at the top here is the input into the brain, and then we've got the transformers that are sitting inside it, which are essentially neural networks, the same way how neurons are connected in our brain. And finally, then we have the output here. Uh, how the brain presents output. So maybe a talk discussion for a different presentation. It's slightly very technical. I want to keep the things not this technical. Okay, so we've seen the intelligence of the models, how well they work. Now I want to give you a real world example of how intelligent these models are. So what I've got here, and we'll take a look at what agents and agentic AI means as well. So what I've got here is I've got this template for a website. So any okay, before I go into this next section, we had some questions about how are these models built, and are there any further questions? How Gen AI is different from AI? Okay. So Gen AI is also AI, but Gen AI is a set of AI that has taken really huge amount of popularity in the past 3 years, ever since ChatGPT was launched. Now, Gen AI is generative AI. It generates output. So if we look at what all the output that we've got, when we ask Gemini a question or when we ask ChatGPT a question, it comes back with an answer to us. So that is Gen AI. It's generating output. Um, and a typical AI may not necessarily be generating output, in the sense that if I compare it to a vision-based model where uh, we've got cameras that, let's say, that detect people. So that is not a generative AI. That's just a detection AI. Now, detection AI means it's able to detect that, okay, there is a specific object in this image or video stream that I've got here. But what it doesn't do compared to generative AI is it doesn't generate a full set of output for me saying that, you've got 5 people in the room. Why don't you turn on the lights or turn off the lights or turn on the air conditioning? And generative AI and AI is they're like Gen AI is still AI, but Gen AI is AI that generates an output. It generates a response. It generates a slide. It generates a PPT. It generates an Excel sheet. It will generate a website, as we'll see now. So that's the real difference. AI has been Lots of work has been done on AI in the past 10 years. Like when I started working on AI in 2015, 2016, we used to work on vision-based tasks and data analytics tasks for decision making, that whether whether we need to have full-fledged lighting for the office based on energy saving, or whether we should have just 50%, 70%, and make real-time decisions. But with the advent of ChatGPT in 2021, 2022, that completely changed everything, and AI came into mainstream. It came into like really, really mainstream. And now everyone uses AI. Prior to that, there were only it was a very small amount of people that used AI in the general populace. But with ChatGPT and with these LLMs, everyone is using AI now, and it's just going to keep increasing. So that's the main difference. Gen AI generates an output, generates documents, PPTs, code, and so on and so forth. All right. So what we've got now, let me now show you how agentic AI works. What is the brilliance of agentic AI? This is something that everyone has been talking about, AI agents, AI agents. So what are AI agents? Are they, virtual people that are answering the phone, or what are AI agents? So when I take a look at, okay, let me share my screen again. Yeah. What I've done here is I've downloaded this template. It's a template called Nexa. It's a basic template if anyone wants to. It's a template that you can use to build your own website. It's basically a web template, and it's got all the sections that you see in a typical website, but it's not really about anything. It says innovative business solution for tomorrow, and then lorem ipsum based text. But it's got all these sections. It's got all these things. Now, I'm going to list down a few tools that can get you started with agentic AI right away and get you a full understanding of what agentic AI is. So, what I've done is I've downloaded this code, this template. It's available for free online. If you just search on Google Nexa web template, you'll be able to download this and double click the HTML file, and it'll open it on the browser for you. So it's right there. It's free. There's no cost to it. I have not spent any money on this at all. What I've done is I've downloaded this tool called Visual Studio Code. This is the most widely used source code editor in the world, VS Code. How many people here are familiar with VS Code? Can we get some answers? Okay. Yeah. So there's a question there. How can we make our own AI agents? I'm going to show you how to use an agent first, and then and definitely I will also tell you how you can make your own agents. So, okay, so we've got few people who are aware of Visual Studio Code, VS Code. This is the most widely used code editor in the world. And this comes with this slider in the right, which says build with agent mode. Take a look here, agent mode. Fantastic. Again, below that, it says AI responses may be inaccurate. Okay, granted, given that. When I look at this website is about nothing. It's just a nice looking website with a bunch of design on it, but it's not about anything. So give me some ideas. What should we build this website about? In the chat, please. What should we build? Should we build it on the history of computers? Should we build it on quantum computing? What do you think, guys? Should we build it on website for educational institute? Okay, we can do that. Quantum computing, we can do that. Okay, let's take website for educational institute. I think that may set a more generalized context for everyone. Okay, all I'm going to do now, I've loaded this website, downloaded this folder from free online and loaded it into VS Code, opened the folder, and and this agent mode opens by default on VS Code. So if you download it, it'll be there for you. I'm going to tell it that edit this website to be about my educational institute called Quantum Education Center, where we teach college kids about quantum computing in 3-month and 6-month batches. We are based in New Delhi. Yeah. Let's give it a fictional address, 20 Tagore Lane, New Delhi. We have a faculty of 10 professors and an intake of up to 100 students per batch. Okay, so this website here, which is basically just a bit, maybe 2 days to do in just a few minutes. And this is something that is widely used. So if you see here, I'm using Claude. Claude is the model under the hood. Now, if you download, once you sign into Copilot, you'll have an option to use all of these models which are available. Claude Haiku, Claude Opus, Claude Sonnet, Gemini 2.5, Gemini 3, GPT-5, Grok. So all of these models will be available. But I'm using Claude because we've seen Gemini, we've seen ChatGPT at the earlier part of this presentation. In this part, we'll see how well Claude performs. So now we see here this website. As I'm going to start refreshing it slowly and steadily, and we will start seeing these edits being made into this website. It's now happening as well. It's reading through. So it's telling exactly what it's doing. It's reading, it's trying to understand it. And here we go. It's made some edits already. Let me refresh the page. Here we go. Quantum Education Center. Okay, this has been changed. Slowly and steadily, it's going to start making those full changes. Let's see the agent in action. This is what an agent is. It's right in action for us. It's doing this. It's edited a few files in index.html, and it's going to keep doing it until the job is not done. It'll keep going on. So this is really brilliant. This is something that I can just sit here, have my tea, and have this make the website for me. And something that used to take me 2 or 3 days to do, and also, not just 2-3 days of like coding, but also to find the content. What should I write? Here we go. Master Quantum Computing in 3 to 6 months. India's premier institute for quantum computing education. Located in New Delhi, we train college students with comprehensive programs taught by 10 expert professors. Join up to 100 students per batch in this revolutionary field. Fantastic. Take a look here now. It's making these edits into this website. It's not done yet. It's still working. But as we see, this entire website, which was just a template, is now going to be converted to a website for my Quantum Computing Institute in less than 2 minutes. This is what people say nowadays, that AI is saving so much time, and it really, really is. I mean, it allows, if we think about somebody who's a web developer who makes websites, this is a really mundane task. Like, okay, I know exactly that I have to build this website, let's say 7 or 8 years ago, when I used to, build websites, and I would say that, okay, I need to understand what exactly, if I even download a template, I need to see, okay, there is this call LG10. Okay, we have a column. Then we have this class called hero content. Okay, I need to put text inside that. And then I need to understand what is BI motorboard, what is BI trophy. I don't need to do all that anymore. It's changed life so much. We have this agent who's working brilliantly for me. It's doing everything. And slowly and steadily, this website is being transformed. Here we go. About Quantum Education Center, empowering students through quantum computing education, world-class faculty, flexible programs, small batch size. Apply now. So it's not edited this part yet, but it's gonna reach there and it's gonna get this thing done. So this is something really brilliant. And if you're looking to build websites, and if you're looking to, these days everyone requires a website or another. Using an agent is the easiest and best way to build a website, because not only it's gonna, build this first draft for me, but the agent is so intelligent that once I start giving it prompts to make changes to the website, it will do that brilliantly as well. So, and this is just for websites, but these AI agents work on all programming languages. I mean, whether that is C++, Python, Java, JavaScript, HTML, C Sharp, PHP, no matter the programming language, it actually ends up like the code that's written by AI is so much better than code that's written by humans. And it's what would take somebody 4 hours to do is done in less than 4 minutes by AI. So this is an AI in action. Soon enough, we'll see this website, and you very easily in the like right after this call, after this meeting, actually. And here we go. Look at how brilliantly how to join. So it's got a submit application, interview and assessment program, begin learning. Fantastic. Look at this. It's what, when we asked Copilot that use the template and make a PPT for us, Copilot was not able to do that. But because inherently all of these models, they are much more trained on programming languages and programming frameworks than they are on PPT based files. They understand PPT files, sure, but the intelligence that they have for these programming languages, it's at another level. So that same thing where it was not able to, understand the PPT and generate the content for us. Here we've got AI that's building this fantastic website for us, and it's going and it's doing this in literally no time. So any questions on this so far? Okay. No other questions? All right. We'll wait for this website to complete. I also would tell you a little bit about more tools which allow you to build these kind of websites and build these and deploy them. So I'm going to paste everything in the chat here, everything that I've done. So the first, to use this agent, VS Code. 2, we've got Copilot. 3, use the template-based website. 4, deploy the website to Firebase. Now, what is Firebase? Firebase is a free service provided by Google that allows you to deploy websites and other applications as well, like a lot more than just websites. It does a lot more for you. But for our use case and what we are discussing here right now is you can deploy websites brilliantly into uh, uh, the web and have it live for you. So as you see here, it's now making these testimonials as well. Karthik Reddy, research intern, best investment in my career, Arjun Mehta, and it'll do it. And let me tell it to continue. Okay. It will do this, but we can also give it prompts. Let it complete this entire first generation, and then we'll use some prompts and we'll edit it. So, we can have a website exactly the way we want it in I think less than 10 minutes, less than 10 to 15 minutes, you can have a website. And use a tool like Firebase. And then, you can always go back. Let me close this. You could ask how to deploy an HTML website in Firebase, and it'll give me the steps. So this website that we've got, let's say you open a new educational institute and you want to make a website for it and you want to deploy it. Really, really easy process. First, take the 3 steps that I told you, download the template, and then put it into VS Code, put a few prompts about what your website is about, and then go into Firebase and deploy this website. You'll have the exact steps given to you here. Just follow along with these steps, very easy. Navigate to the root directory of your HTML website containing your index.html file. So yeah, this is where we have the index.html file. And then run the initialization command in the terminal. So basically the terminal is nothing but, for those who don't know, we have the terminal here and we do the Firebase init over there. And after that, it will ask you a bunch of questions. So what do you want to just follow along? The default is public, folder and everything. And then finally you type in this command Firebase deploy and you will get a website at this URL. So easy process, really, really easy and nothing really very fancy or nothing too tough about it. You can deploy websites in 15 minutes and you can even make agents. So coming back to the question where somebody had asked, how do we make AI agents? So this is an agent. What's happening here, this is an agent. This is an AI tool where we've given, if you see here, in the Copilot drop down, we have 3 options. We have agent mode, ask mode, and edit mode. Now, agent mode is where we give it this kind of a prompt and we let the AI just go ahead and build everything for us. So this is agent mode, and this is where the the AI works autonomously. Like we tell it to do something and it does it for us. So this is an agent. You can build agents using other frameworks as well. You can build an agent in Python. You could build an agent using, let's say, a framework like N8N or Zapier or something. Those are also agents. Or you could always, of course, go into ask mode. But if you've heard these days, we have a lot of these automated callers, also automated phone calls that we get, uh, you know, computers talking to us that, hey, we have a plot available. Are you interested in purchasing a flat at this location? Or are you interested in purchasing some property? And then you can speak to that agent, that virtual agent over the phone, and it understands. So under the hood of that phone call as well is an LLM. It's typically ChatGPT, and that's the most commonly one used for these agents. ChatGPT is sitting under the hood, and the LLM is analyzing your voice input, and it is conversing with you and trying to sell you that flat or trying to sell you that plot or whatever that would be. So these things are very, very common now, and AI agents are here to stay. I would say that being a coder and being a professional, developer, software engineer, architect myself, I would say that the amount of benefit that I've got by having just this chat window, this agent right here, if I could work on 1 project or 2 projects in a day, let's say 4 years back or 3 years back, today I'm able to work on at least 10 projects in a day. The amount of work that I can get done and the value that I can build and provide has exponentially increased. It's gone to the next level. with this little chat window. And I'm pretty sure for other people in other domains, who build a lot of slides, documents, decks, or do a lot of research, and you could talk to the you could talk to Gemini and ChatGPT about the most complex stuff. So I mean, here, let's say you're a researcher in quantum computing and you want to understand Grover's algorithm. 3 years back, what you do is you would paste that into Google and you would try to, as the researcher, you would go into different links, and then you would see that, okay, there's a link by IIT or there's a link by MIT, and you would say that, okay, this kind of makes sense. But whatever information was in that link, you couldn't really ask that. If you had a doubt, you couldn't ask. You had to research more, find other documents, try to understand. But now you can go into these LLMs, you can tell it, explain Grover's algorithm to me. And how can I be so sure? And how do I get the confidence that when I'm speaking to this LLM, is it giving me the right knowledge that I need? Is it giving me the correct knowledge? Well, going by the way it has designed this website for us for Quantum Education Center in 5 minutes, I would say that it's got a lot of good understanding already that needs to be done. I think I stopped it for some reason. Let me exit. Yeah, okay. So if you look at this output, this is in-depth research that is being done by the by it's and then we can ask that, tell me more about Grover diffusion operator. And then I could take this output, go into Gemini, paste it there, and get more information. So using these AI tools is absolutely transformative. There are other tools that I also want to highlight. We've seen, and I'm pretty sure ChatGPT and Gemini, they've really gone through. I didn't ask. No worries. That they've really transformed lives, and they've made huge strides, and they're continuing to make huge strides every week. I think every week there's some new huge stride that is completed, that these AI tools are able to perform. So it's here to stay, and as humans, it is our responsibility to use it in as intelligently as possible, and use these tips and tricks that compare the output from one model and paste it into another one, and see what the output comes. Uh, so I mean, if we want to gauge how well these models work, then there's many benchmarks. There are research done where they publish how fast and how quickly a model is able to reason through complex problems. So if we ask it, what are the benchmarks that are used to define an AI model's intelligence? Here are major benchmark categories: reasoning and problem solving benchmarks. So they have the MMLU, then they have the Big Bench, then Big Bench Hard, GPQA, Logic A, Drop, and let's ask the same question to Gemini. So what we've seen today, we've seen AI creating brilliant presentations for us. That's one. We've seen Gemini. It kind of got stuck here when we gave it when we asked it to edit it back. So we can ask it to make a fresh slide for us, and it'll be able to do it. But if we take a look at this slide and what we saw when it came up with the images as well in the first iteration, the trick is to, just export it to slides the first time you get the output. So you have a backup and a history of what it's generated, and then you make the edits and just copy paste it into the slides here. So we've seen Gemini as a clear winner in this making a slide. Then we saw how to use AI to compare complicated documents. We had IIT physics questions that we input as a PDF file into ChatGPT and Gemini both. We asked it to summarize the questions, and then we took that same summary from one model and pasted it into another, and we found errors or partial errors in the outputs of both the models, which were 5% or 10% of the times. So let's say the model is 90% intelligent, 10% it produces errors, but that's where we as the humans come into the picture. We copy the output from one model, paste it into the second one, and we are able to see that, okay, we found where the models were lacking and we fixed that issue. Further, we've also seen how AI agents can make websites for us. We asked it to make a computing website. I stopped it midway while it was, but that same template that we had given it transformed that website into a quantum education center. So within 10 minutes, something that used to take me as a coder 2 days to do, with the content and everything, it was able to do that in less than 10 minutes. So that's a huge amount of time saving. So you use VS Code, Copilot, and then Claude is the best model out of them all for coding. But ChatGPT works too, Gemini works too. All of them work fairly well, especially in building a website. It's not really that complicated of a task for any of these models in these days. And then you can deploy the same website to Firebase. So it can get the entire thing done for you in less than 30 minutes. You can have this entire thing. You can even tell the agent here that deploy the website to Firebase, and it'll do it for you. It'll ask you for permissions in the terminal itself, and it'll do it for you. So highly recommended that post this session today or tomorrow, everyone download VS Code if you haven't already, because it's not just building websites. You can even build PPTs using HTML. I have in a previous session, I have shared how okay, we have a question. I've shared how to build PPTs with HTML. That's something that can be done. I can show it to you as well right now. So we have a question here: how to embed an AI agent into a website? Okay. So this question is to embed an AI agent into a website. Let's say you want to have a chat help agent into a website. This is something that you can do. You can have ChatGPT make it for you itself. So let me show you. You can do this. Just a moment. Okay, so there is a slide. Since I stopped it midway, it was completing this, but it didn't. So this is our faculty section. Okay, it's the faculty section. Image cards, layout is broken. Add a chat pop-up that is sticking to the bottom left of the screen, and that answers 4 questions. One, the number of questions can be as many as we want, but how to sign up for a course, how long duration, how many faculty there, and How many students per batch? So, okay, now I've just given the agent the prompt to do this. So if we want to have a chatbot within the website, yeah, so it's going to fix the images and add a chat pop-up widget. So we'll see that in just lesser than 2 or 3 minutes. This is fairly standard and really easy work for the chatbot, for the AI agent. This works really well. So let it work. And okay, do we have any other questions until then? Let me see. Maybe a chat help widget. Okay. Any other questions, guys? I hope we've picked up a few good things from this discussion and presentation today. We saw how the AI models and AI agents work, and how we can use them to build presentations, how we can have them to build documents, verify the output of documents, and yeah. So, any other questions? Would be happy to answer. No other questions. So as we see here, it has fixed the faculty image section. Now the faculties are, the section is back. And once it's done with that, it's just going to fix this contact section and then create the chatbot for us. No other questions. So we see AI it's going to be more and more used as as we as we proceed. It's just going to the usage of AI is going to increase exponentially, especially in the next year, because companies and enterprises are now going to start realizing, how well the agents work. I think it's been one or it takes at least 1 to 2 years for enterprises and companies to fully understand what are the benefits and key use cases. But now that understanding has come, and it's just going to increase as we proceed. So we've got a chat function over here. So okay, it's gonna fix the text color. It's still working. Oh, okay, so the text is yeah. So we got the chat function, how to sign up for a course. Okay, let's tell it. Fix the color of the font. Use black font color chat widget. So this is a very small use case, but if you were to build something like, you would need a server in the backend. You would need some Python coding that will analyze the chat input for you. Then you'd need to link that backend with the website front end. So it's a 3 to 4 step process that will allow you to, build. So here we go. It's fixed the font color. We've got this kind of a chat bot. If we wanted to have a chat input feature, it can do that as well. But to showcase the ability of these agents, how well they work, it just takes a prompt and there we go. It's got a chat pop-up for us ready within less than 3 minutes. So yeah. So I hope that was fruitful. Any other questions, guys? Any
We are
questions?
also on the clock now, so I'll say that I think if there are no questions, probably got a lot of they got a lot out of it already. So thank you so much. And this recording will anyway be available on YouTube. We will be putting it up once the cohort is over. So maybe on Monday or Tuesday we'll be putting it up. So the faculty members can go back to the video if they have any doubts. And thank you so much, Aditya, for taking this session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, faculty members, for attending, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Bye.